geoholic.
I was a little too tall, could have used a few pounds.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not singing.
Somebody's got to.
We'll leave that for Kent when he comes back.
Big dark eyes and points all her own, sitting way up high.
Woo. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is a nice little groove right there. You cannot go wrong with a little Bob Seger. Love it. All right, guys. Welcome back, Geoholics.
Welcome.
We
Shawnee,
are in uncharted territory here.
We are.
The geotech engineer of the group has taken over the Geoholics. Our fearless leader is out on assignment with some really important work assignments. I know it was critical for him, and I know he wants to be here. However, you got producer Sean, and of course, PETA is here with us, helping us out. Man, it's really good to be here. PETA, how you doing? What's new with you? Oh, my
God. Hey, Shawnee, episode 230.
It is episode 230. There it is. I know she would help me out there. Man, it's crazy. 230 episodes still is, I mean, just wild. It's hard to believe. But real quick, let's catch up for a little bit, PETA. I need to hear a little bit what's up new with you. Thanks for coming here, joining us on this fine evening / morning for you.
Yes, my God, it's been quite a while since I've been in front of a microphone. So I just want to touch a couple of updates that we've been having with the Geoholics before we go into what I've been doing. September has been Childhood Awareness Month. We did a fundraiser for Strong Like Sloan, and we were able to donate 500 Canadian dollars to their fund. So thank you to everybody who purchased a T-shirt.
That is awesome. I did get my shirt in the mail. It is phenomenal. Nice. I mean, it's a really cool shirt, and it's really cool to have something like that. And you know what it means. And I mean, let's be honest. If we didn't put it out there, and with a lot of help from you and everyone else, that's money that didn't exist without it. So it's really good stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty chuffed that we were managed to get that much money for them. We are looking at, you guys are heading out to a few places over the next few months for conferences.
We are.
Yeah, which means that we are going to create an events page on the Geoholics website. So if you want to promote your event, you want people to know about it, there's going to be a form on our website where you can fill it in and we can put your details up on our page. So a little bit of exposure for you. We promote it through our social channels and things like that. Our marketplace on our website is going well. If you're looking for products and services from our sponsors, you'll find our marketplace. Mm-hmm. And lastly, Shawnee, the one that I'm really, really excited about is our Geoholics shop, which is going to happen very soon. I know we've been talking about it for a while.
I know we have, but we are having a meeting tomorrow, PETA and I and it is like literally just finalizing details, and the good guys at Sporttex are going to get that for us, get that going. Mm-hmm. And then I know you guys love the Geoholics so much. You can go on, find your size, your color, whatever you want, shirt, beanie, whatever, buy your stuff. They'll ship it right to you. And here's the good news. You don't have to wait for Kent to put it in the mail. No. Like they're going to do it themselves, and it's going to get there. It's going to be awesome. So
that was the main thing we had to make sure of.
Yeah, we had to make sure we took the mailing options out of Kent. But you told us all about the upcoming stuff. Obviously, the big one for us, a week out from us leaving for Germany for Intergeo 2024. Yes. Really excited to be in Stuttgart.
Please.
Yeah. You just got to get to Phoenix, and I'll put you in my carry-on. We'll be good to go.
Good.
So apart from all that, PETA, a little bit, what's new with you?
Now I went on holidays. A vacation.
Yes, you went on vacation. I
went to Tasmania for a week. It was awesome just to disconnect from everything and get away and see some beautiful sights of Australia. So if you're ever over in Australia, go and visit Tasmania. It is absolutely gorgeous.
That is cool.
Four different weather patterns in one day. So it might be raining, it might be snowing, it might be sunny, it might be windy, you go. But it is absolutely gorgeous. So
that's awesome.
Yes. So holidays. Today is my 25th wedding anniversary.
Hey, quarter century. Man, that is impressive. Congratulations. I'm sure you haven't heard enough, but man, and I'm sure everyone that has a significant other out there knows that is not just, you get married and wake up 25 years later. It is a constant, not I want to say battle, but it's some endeavor that you get to go through, and it's a marathon, I should say, and it's a roller coaster. It's a marathon. It's like, man, it's like a run that never ends. But a lot of people enjoy that kind of thing. So
yeah, and the last thing I want to mention. I've got one more thing is that you all know that I have been working with running my courses across Australia. We now have our own registered training organisation. So I'm really proud that we have been able to accomplish that in such a short amount of time. And I'm done. What about you, Shawnee?
I mean, I really don't have much. I want to keep it moving. It's been focused on getting ready for this trip and trying to wrap up everything I can, at the office and here and at home. And, I want to be able to do what you did, is disconnect. So that means I have a 3-week preparatory scramble to get everything ready for our trip. So, but we're really excited. We're going into we're flying into Zurich and then going to Budapest and then over to Stuttgart for the conference, and just kind of bouncing around. I don't know what you call that, like mid-southern Europe area. So weather's supposed to be nice, so we're excited.
Cool.
Okay, moving on. The NLC Prep Song of the Week. I get to do this. NLC Prep is for those dedicated to passing their land surveying exams on their first try. That song, Bob Seger, Like a Rock. Actually, no, that was not Like a Rock. That was Night Moves, because that was my personal favorite. So I had to insert that in there. Bob Seger, American singer, songwriter, musician known for his distinctive raspy voice and blend of rock, folk, and blues. Born on May 6, 1945 in Detroit, Michigan, Seger gained popularity in the 1970s with his hits Night Moves, Turn the Page, and Against the Wind. Everyone knows this guy. His lyrics often reflect themes of working class life, nostalgia, and personal introspection. Seger and his Silver Bullet Band became iconic in the heartland rock genre and is considered one of the most successful rock artists in American music history. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2004.
Okay.
I mean, every time that song comes up, everyone knows it, obviously.
So Sean was talking about our Song of the Week, and for some reason he has frozen. Welcome.
We are, of course, in today we are in the David Evans and Associates studio. Peter?
Well, you are. Yes,
David
you
Evans.
are. So what sets David Evans apart is that even more than the quality of their work is the quality of their relationships and the commitments that they make. The DEA difference is reflected in the 6 commitments and the seriousness in which they make them. The clarity of expectations, their effective communication, their accountability, collaboration and teamwork, initiative and creativity, and their trust. So together, these commitments create authentic, meaningful relationships, effective solutions, and superior client experiences, which are the hallmark of the DEA difference. If you want to find out more, go to geoinc.com, or you can find them on the Geoholics website.
Peter, that was amazing. I mean,
what can I say?
I must say, we may have to clip that out, and that's going to go on the DEA website, because that's much better than Kent's ever done. All right, moving along. This is now the GeoMax Weekly Service Pro Tip, brought to you by geomax-positioning.com. They provide a comprehensive portfolio of quality construction and survey instruments and software. All right, here we go. Here's our quote. We see our customers as invited guests to a party, and we are the hosts. It's our job every day to make every important aspect of the customer experience a little bit better. Mr. Jeff Bezos said that, believe it or not. And I'm sure we're going to kind of tie that into our guests and their experience with their respective firms. But real quick, we got one more. We got to fit in the GeoSearch Career Corner.
We do have the GeoSearch Career Corner.
Peter, are you ready? We're going to do this. We're going to tag team it.
Are we?
This across the globe. All right, are you ready?
Nice, go for it.
All right, are you ready to map out your future career? Look no further than GeoSearch. Whether you are a seasoned pro or just starting out, they specialize in connecting talented individuals like you with top-notch opportunities in GIS, geospatial, and related sciences.
From engineering to software, management to sales, they've got you covered. Their extensive network spans nationally and globally, offering a wide range of positions in the geoscience industry, including GIS, GPS, mapping, and more.
Yes, and from I know we were so close. For the perfect job to find you, take the first step today by browsing their open positions or sending them your resume.
And once again, you can find them at geosearch.com or on the Geoholics website.
Yes, you can. Well done, Peter. Man, you are just showing me up a little bit. I know. I've got to keep my job. That's right. All right, let's bring our guests in here. They've been waiting long enough. Our guests are, of course, sponsored by our friends at Airworks. All your point cloud management needs, visit airworks.io. All right, I'll let them do some self-introductions just to give a quick intro. This week, we are joined with the team at GeoEngineers. I told you guys we had taken over the Geoholics, and if we're going to have this episode, we're finally going to talk about geotech with some very smart, talented people. We've got King Chen, Matt Martinez, and Arash Peruzzi. Did I get that right, Arash?
You got it right. Yes.
There you go.
I love
Glad it was you, not me.
Well, we're gonna do. All right. So first of all, I'm gonna kick it around the horn here. Give me a little bit about who you are, what you do, and we have to mix in the icebreaker. And the icebreaker this week is: would you rather travel back in time or into the future? King, your name means I got to start with you, so I'll kick it off with you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Sean. Well, first off, we'd like to thank you for bringing GeoEngineers on, and so that your audience can learn a little bit about GeoEngineers. We appreciate it. My name is King Chen. I'm from Malaysia originally. I was here since when I was 19 years old, and get my undergraduate and graduate degree from Washington State University. Been with GeoEngineers for 26 years.
Wow.
Started as a temporary employee and progressed through my career here. And currently, I'm the Chief Executive Officer for the company. And I'm responsible for the People and Culture Initiative, and then really focusing on optimize the operations and the strategic aspect of the company. So glad to be here.
All right, you got to answer the question. Would you rather travel back in time or into the future?
Back in time, because if I know what's going to happen in the future, then life is boring, and what's the point of living?
Okay. That's very interesting.
Good answer.
All right, Arash, you're up.
Yes.
All right. So, Arash Peruzzi. I'm from Iran, and I moved to the U.S. when I was 27. I'm not going to tell you how old I am now, but I've been here for a while now. I completed my bachelor's and master's degrees in Iran, and then moved to the U.S. to do a PhD. I went to UMass Amherst, and then I started working for GeoEngineers, and I've been with Geo for over 6 years now. I'm a senior engineer here, and I also head our San Diego office. I just work closely with our talented staff down here, do whatever needs to be done. We are a small office in San Diego, so we do everything from 0 to 100 ourselves, and it's pretty fun. And to answer your question, that's something that my wife would ask me, and then she would judge me because of the answer. And I know she's going to listen to this, and we are going to argue over this, but I'm going to travel to the future. And she's asked me this question so many times. I'm not going to give you my reason. I'm not going to go over that, but I'm going to go in the future.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cool. All right, Matt, you're up.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Peter. Pleasure to be on the show here tonight. I'm Matthew Martinez from San Diego, California. Originally, went to the University of Hawaii at Hilo. I have a bachelor's degree in geology. Came back to San Diego and started working in geotechnical consulting. Been doing so now for about 10 or so years. Got involved with GeoEngineers about 2.5, 3 years ago. Contacted King directly as it was to get involved there. As Arash mentioned, we have a San Diego office. It's something that's in progress, but it's been really fun to be part of that. And then it's been nice to just bring in some of my local San Diego insight into the picture as well. By title, by trade, I'm an engineering geologist, so technically not an engineer. I went to the dark side.
We won't hold that against you.
Became a Thank you. So became a geoscience person. I manage projects here locally or here in the office, and also just help Arash to move things along. I'll also try my hand at business development from time to time.
Perfect. Right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really looking forward to this conversation, Shawnee.
Wait, Matt didn't answer the question.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
I'm not the host. Sorry, I should. What I want to know.
Yeah, I think he was trying to get away with that one. I missed it too. Good one, Arash.
I thought King's answer was so comprehensive. I mean, that's pretty tough to argue with. But
I have to admit that future. We've had.
I don't really have a specific reason.
Go ahead.
But it sounds like it'd be fun. I mean, I've already gone through the past, and I know what went on there. So I'm familiar with that. But who knows what the future holds, right? So why not go ahead and check that out?
That's so true. Maybe going into the future to have more of an idea of what to do now. It's possibly a way to go. So, well, I would ask Sean whether he would go backwards or forwards, but he's having a few technical difficulties. So while he's jumping back on, good old internet in Arizona we can't rely on, I might move forward and start asking a couple of questions about the company and stuff. And I want to start with you, King, because you have been with the company for quite a while. So can you share the story about GeoEngineers, the founding, and how it's evolved over that time?
Yeah, GeoEngineers was founded in 1980 by three founders, Jack Tuttle, John Kolosky, and Gary Henderson. One of the main reasons why the three founders found the company was they was trying to create this company that is going to be focusing on the employee and focusing on doing exciting projects and having fun working on the projects that the engineers and the scientists working on. Their background was they worked for a big firm, and then so they decided that they want to create these organizations that can pass on the future generation, focusing on people and technical work, and just having fun doing it, so that life's worth living. We found it with a core value of staying independently owned, and also caring and respect when we interact with each other. So that was 1980. We started with three founders, and moving through times and between the founding years and 1990s, I have to say that GeoEngineers is founded as a geotechnical engineering firm. And through 1990, there was a big boom in the environmental market in doing underground tank project work. So we started evolve and getting into the environmental services, and then that provided a huge growth opportunity for us. And through that period, now we have added the environmental services to as part of our core services, and we grow our company from 3 to about 130 something when I joined the firm in 1998.
Right, because you're now about 400.
We are now 460.
Yeah.
And we started with one office in Bellevue, Washington, which is about 8 miles east of Seattle, Washington. And now we have 16 offices across the United States in 4 corners: Northeast, Southeast, Southwest California, and then Pacific Northwest, and in the Midwest region also.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm sure that will mean a lot to the listeners in America. So I kind of have an idea of what you're talking about.
It's a diverse company just from the region perspective, right?
Yeah.
There's different regional cultures that we have to consider and as part of the company decision making. So it evolved from like one office, 3 people, and geotech firm, adding environmental services, and then we also expand our services to include the natural resources, and then the river engineering and geostructural engineering. And so currently we have about 5 core services: geotechnical, environmental, natural resources, and geostructural, and also the underground pipeline, and then expertise. So those are our 5 core services spread across 16 offices across the United States. But we do project internationally. Our projects span from South America to like South Pacific. Haven't been to Australia yet. That was
there's always time.
And then Asia, and then the Europe, Alaska. So
awesome. Well, I mean, to me, all of those different core areas that you're working in pretty much go hand in hand.
That's correct. That's why we call ourselves a geotechnical engineering and earth science consulting services. And then, the geostructural engineering aspect of it, and the earth science, the soft engineering. So everything below ground, natural resources, and those are the focus of our services and our practices.
I mean, the first thing I thought of when I knew you guys were coming on and you were in San Diego and all that sort of stuff, the first thing I thought about was, earthquakes. You'd be studying the ground to check the I don't know what you check underground, but that was the first thing that came to me when I heard the San Diego and geotech. I went, earthquakes.
Hey there, Geoholics. Got to tell you about our friends at David Evans & Associates. At DEA, they join their clients to make a positive difference. DEA is a recognized leader in the design and management of complex transportation, land development, water resources, and energy projects nationwide. They combine the talents of engineers, surveyors, planners, hydrographers, landscape architects, and natural resource scientists to provide their clients access to a complete range of services.
In addition to that, DEA's philosophy, core purpose, vision, and values strike a balance between freedom and responsibility, guidance and accountability, and economic progress and environmental stewardship. DEA is consistently ranked among Engineering News Record's top 100 peer design firms in the U.S. and among leaders in many of their local markets.
To find out more, visit www.deainc.com. Okay, well, that's a good segue because we can talk details. What do you check for a geotech? What do you check for an earthquake? And I know these guys want to know this stuff and maybe talk a little bit about what that means with land subsidence and faults and those kind of things with these guys that, measure the same thing on the earth every day.
I think I'll let Matt to talk about the engineering geologist aspect of it, and Arash talk about the engineering applications of it.
Well, from the geology side, we look at it more in terms of hazards, right? So what are the hazards that are presented by earthquakes, seismic activity, what have you? Obviously, Sean, you mentioned faults. So one of the primary hazards would be an outright surface fault rupture, right? So that would be where you'd have a fault plane that would effectively rupture the ground surface and therefore potentially compromise any structures that are along the trace of that fault during rupture, right? That's an example of a hazard. Another hazard would be seismically induced landsliding, for example. Not obviously, landsliding is a general hazard, but it can be seismic activity can be a already contributing factor to areas that are landslide prone. we also look at it in terms of the actual ground motions and how ground motions would impact, say, like a high-rise building per se. And maybe I can segue to Arash here to discuss earthquake engineering more like.
Yeah, maybe a couple projects that we have done in San Diego and Southern California area that show an example of what the fault identifications and the geotechnical earthquake engineering aspect of it.
Sure. So a lot of the times you have these active, quote unquote, faults running underneath structures, and if they activate, one side might go up, the other side, I'm trying to simplify, the other side can go down, or one side remains constant, the other side goes up, and then that can create cracking into the foundation of the structures, right? That could be a problem. So one of the things that we do is to make sure if there are any active faults at the site, and that's Matt's specialty, we might dig trenches, long trenches, look underground, see if there are any indications of a fault. We've done that, for example, at the project in 29 Palms in California. And we basically did, I don't know how many, hundreds of feet of trenching to look into the existing faults. Or it could be other methodology that gets used to look into that. So that's one of the items that we look at. But then the other thing that we have is, well, okay, let's say there's no active fault. Still, there's an earthquake. You have the ground shaking, and that movement causes settlement, causes forces to the buildings, especially if you have below grade parking or basement structures. So one of the other things that we look at is that we look at the soil at the site, we look and we model how it would behave in terms of an earthquake, and then work closely with the structural engineers to help them better model the movement of the ground through the earthquake so they can design the building in a better way. And we've done this on quite a few projects. Typically high rises are the places that you would look into that hazard, or if you're looking into a hospital, also high risk projects that you want to have them operational after an earthquake. So that's another example of what we look at in terms of seismic.
So Arash, can I just ask with, when you're looking at the soils and stuff like that, you obviously have an understanding of the different types of rocks and the soils and stuff that you're testing. What sort of things are you looking for?
So first of all, the hardest...
Or is that too hard a question?
No. You touched on an interesting topic, because one of the most challenging things in geotechnical engineering could be that you start working on a site, you don't exactly know what's underground and how soil changes underground, right? The soil layering, thicknesses, depth. And your first order of business is to come up with boring locations, to drill borings or push CPTs and figure out the site, basically, right? Characterize the site. But it's a little bit of a chicken and egg situation, because you don't know what's underneath, but you have to plan for it. And then you come back to the office and then you start thinking that, maybe I should have had another point in this location. And it's one of the tricky parts, because sometimes then the owners say, well, you should have figured it out early on, or they don't want to talk about it. And Sean might have his own experiences with this.
Oh, absolutely. But I do have to ask a quick question, though, Arash. You said the words push CPTs. I have done this. It is an actual pretty cool technology. And if you can you give our audience the layman's quick what push CPT means and all the cool data you can get from it?
Yes, absolutely. So CPT, cone penetration test, it's something that got invented. People argue over it, but by the Dutch, that's what happened. And it's basically, it's a small diameter cone that you push in the ground at a constant speed. And there are sensors at the tip of the cone and to the side of the sleeve that follows the cone. And as the rod is being pushed in the ground, you are taking constant measurements of stiffness, basically, or the stiffness of the material against the cone, and the amount of pressure that it takes to push the cone in the ground, basically. The good thing about this technology is that, as I said, it's constant readings, and you have consistent reading all the way down to the bottom of the exploration, as opposed to, let's say, borings that are more common and people are more familiar with. But typically you take samples at intervals. You don't exactly see what's in between. And yeah, that's my simple way of talking about CPTs.
What did it stand for again?
I think
Cone penetration test.
Cone penetration test. Basically, you just jam this thing into the ground and it reads data as it goes down. And it spits back, and you get cool little graphs on how hard it takes to get through the ground, and when it hits water and soft layers, and it's amazing how much information you can get by just jamming a thing down into the ground several hundred feet. So what are let's keep going. If you guys still got me here, what are the other challenges that you guys get? Okay, there's a lot of geotech engineers out there. How do you navigate through the market, and how do you, convince your clients that you can offer a good service? And I know, King, you want to answer this question.
Okay.
I can guess the question.
I know we're talking about challenges, the market. How do you address them?
How you differentiate yourself.
Yes. Who'd like to take that one?
If we assume these questions,
let's run with it.
Yeah. If the question is about, there's a lot of geotech engineering firms out there. What are the challenges that we face with, and how can we set us apart from others, and to be sustainable in the business place, in the marketplace. I think it's really, geotechnical engineering applications traditionally has been focusing on exploring the ground conditions, understanding what soil type you have, and so they give you a high level understanding of the soil behavior. And back in the days, before we have all the technology and the advanced testing and the computers and power in analyzing the behavior of the soil, we have to use what we call the observation method. As it's like, do the best we can and then make a predictions. But the predictions tends to be on the conservative side. But while we start seeing the actual performance of the Earth system that we design, we learn from it, and that gradually getting us to be a more optimized design and practices. And so when I first started, and then most of the geotechnical engineering applications based on factor of safety. And when you do a foundation design, people wants to know and what is the ratio of your resistance, meaning how much the soil can handle, and divided by the load that you're going to be applied to the soil. So if you have a factor of safety of 3, that means your soil resistance 3 times stronger than the load that you designed for. As I progress in my career, the industry has moved away from the factor of safety force-based method, and now we are more into what is the performance or the deformations, right? Rather than asking the questions about, let's use a foundation as an example, rather than asking about, what is the factor of safety of my foundation? Now the question is, how many inches of sediment my foundation is going to experience when you apply the design load to the foundation. So now factor of safety is just like the limit test. And really what we're more interested in is understanding how the building is going to move, how the substructure is going to move. And that has posed some of the challenges because soil is highly variable. It's not man-made material. You have the natural process in depositing on the soil. Even in the alluvium soil, you have alluvial environment, meaning the river deposited material. You have all kind of material that have different behavior. So trying to predict the deformations is going to be a challenge. in order for us to do that, we have to really rely on some of the advanced technology, lab testing equipment. CPT is one of them, rather than just looking at the sample, and we can measure exactly what the resistance are.
So does that mean over the years with the changing technology, your job has got easier?
No, not really. It's actually it's more complicated. It's more it requires a lot more better understanding of how the soil behave. As a geotech engineers, I heard from some of the professors giving lectures, we are like the soil shrink. We need to understand and then the soil, how much stress the soil can handle, and how much strain the soil is going to yield when it's experiences the soil. And we also have to understand how can we mitigate or improve the soil behavior. And so factor safety is a limit. So you can just test it using a simple method and say, this is the resistance, this is the force. But in order to predict the performance, we can do it with the technology, but it requires us to be really understanding how the soil is going to behave at various stages of a stress. So that has made the job of a geotechnical engineers a lot more challenging. But with the new technology, it's something that we're able to respond to.
I guess it's a little bit like, when I look at it in a surveying aspect, we have a lot of new technology on our side. So our job is kind of changing as well, from the traditional land surveyor hand measurement stuff to all of the scanning and that kind of stuff. How do you use surveyors in your jobs? Do you work with surveyors?
Yes, all the time. We work with surveyor all the time. We use InSolve, we use the GIS base and unmanned UAV on different applications. And then,
how does the UAVs come into it?
UAV. So one of our practices is a pipeline design. So pipeline is a horizontal type of infrastructures that span miles, sometimes hundreds of thousands of miles. So in order for us to, the first step in looking at the alignment is to looking at the geologic hazard on a different alignment. You have to figure out, which is the best path for the pipeline to go. And so it's really difficult to, there's map presence that we can look at, and looking at the features that we can understand that there could be some geologic hazard there. But with a UAV, we can couple with the LiDAR, we can fly the alignment and then start looking at some of the features, and then so that we can quickly screen out and some of the hazard that we identify to inform where what is the most optimum pipeline alignment. Landslide will be another cases where it's difficult to send geologists out to the field and start looking at features. Sometimes we look at a close-up view, and if you fly it in the UAV and couple with the LiDAR technologies, then you're able to see a much bigger area and give you a better sense of the regional hazard that you're dealing with. Yeah.
So I guess with that, you've sort of got to, when you're working with those technologies and stuff, it's having that understanding of the aligning your data with the models that are created by the UAV and stuff.
Yeah, the accuracy, absolutely, right? Tolerance and other stuff is this like we can use that to be like for the design level applications, but it's for screening and conceptual design phase, and so that we can quickly weed out some of the fatal flaw of the projects.
I was just listening in, making sure that my connection was still stable. I did want to butt in because I want to hear a little bit more about the San Diego office. And you mentioned that you're just kind of getting it going. And I know a lot of us have like started a new office or going into a new area. And then maybe Matt or Rash, whoever wants to take it, but talk about how that kind of started and how is it going building a new group in a new market?
I'll get started with the initial piece, and I let Matt talk more about what we're doing now and where we're headed. So first of all, when one day King called me and said, "Hey, we're opening a San Diego office. Are you moving to Southern California?" And at the time, I had lived in Seattle for 3 years. Great city, amazing people, one of the best. But I couldn't tolerate the weather. So, like, okay, we're talking about Southern California as opposed to Seattle. All right, deal. So, right? I mean, that wasn't a hard choice, really. So I moved down to San Diego 3.5 years ago now, and to start the office. It was me in the office for a while, and King made a lot of trips down. We started doing business development together and started looking into hiring folks. And throughout the process, Matt came on board and we found someone that was a good fit. So that was a great thing for me personally, because it was me and another person at that time in the office. And then Matt came on board. Okay, now we have a group. Great. And we started winning some work, especially in the federal market. It was our low-hanging fruit at the time. We had some great relationship in that market, and that helped a lot. And we also have a good background in the waterfront industry. So then we got some projects there. Matt came on board. He has a great resume in that regards, and he helped winning some more work as well. And so we started growing slowly, and now we are 5 people. 3.5 years later, we are 5 people. So it's not as it's not as fast of a growth, but it's not bad either. We are self-sustainable at the time. We have enough work to be able to pay the bills, and some more than 5 people. And we are trying to expand and grow. And with that, I'll let Matt continue on.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I didn't know that there was firms like GeoEngineers here in San Diego. So once I kind of came across Geo, which was through some professional contacts of mine, I was thrilled to potentially be able to get on board with them. And I was sort of in between firms at the time. This was about 3 or so years ago. I'd actually just gone through a knee surgery. Like I said, I had a few contacts here locally that put me in touch with Geo. But once I got started up here with Arash in the San Diego office, as he sort of alluded to, it was just about taking advantage of some of my local connections here in the industry. And aside from that, it was really nice to be able to find folks that were interested in some of the projects and more niche market sectors that I was interested in and had worked in previously. Examples of that would be on the federal market side with NAVFAC Southwest. We have a lot of naval infrastructure in and around San Diego County, so I've always found that work to be very interesting. And then also on the waterfront side in and around San Diego Bay, aside from all of the varying naval installations, we have pretty much all of downtown, which is right next to the bay. So lots of opportunities for those types of projects if you know the right people and how to get involved. I think that's one thing on the Port and Harbor Marine Coastal side of things, if you will, can be a little bit more challenging to really gain the experience and have some of the connections, like I said, to really go out and win some of those projects. I feel like we're able to do that in the early stages. In the past 2.5 years, early stages for the office, that is, here in the past 2.5 years. So that's been really, really exciting. And then we've had so much support from all the rest of our offices. Obviously, King was a huge proponent of our San Diego office, and so Arash and I have been just trying to stay afloat here. We also have a few new hires as well, so we're up to 4 full-time staff here locally. And we also have a senior consultant that I worked with previously that works with us and acts as sort of a mentor type figure for the office. So it's really going along pretty well.
So Matt, can I just ask, with you mentioning earlier, you do a bit of, the business development sort of side and everything. What's it like, starting up a new business and having a few contacts, getting those partnerships to be able to grow that business, or having the right people and stuff like that? How does that work with your R&D and finding the right projects that fit with your company?
Yeah, that's a great question. And when I said that previously, I'm definitely not full-time BD by any means. I have a lot of project management and other general technical work to do, but I do like to dabble. And then obviously I had certain connections just being here from San Diego locally. So, I think it just comes down to really staying in touch and really communicating. Depending on the market sector, one firm or another may have more or less experience. And so if there's one firm in particular that's interested in getting more readily involved in, say, like the Port and Harbor Marine Coastal side of things, it really helps to have some sort of key strategic teaming partners that have that background and have the means to go out and track some of that project work down. So that's been something that Arash and I have found to be sort of critical path. And then, the geotechnical industry here in Southern California, I feel like it's sort of a small world, right? So you definitely want to be aware of that, but it also helps to have just some general insider knowledge and connections. Because it can just be exceedingly challenging in a new city to really make meaningful connections. I think another big part of it is leveraging some of the connections we have in other parts of the country with existing clients in whatever market sector. I think the federal market is a good example of that, where we've certainly looked to try and accomplish that. We do a lot of work up in the Pacific Northwest in NAVFAC Northwest, I should say. So we certainly wanted to pick up that sort of work with those clients in NAVFAC Southwest here in San Diego. So that's a big part of it as well.
So can I add something very briefly?
Go ahead,
Yeah. So for me personally, when I moved down to San Diego, it was very challenging because I moved to a city that no one really knew geoengineers except for a couple of people. And in the geotechnical industry, everyone wants you to have that local knowledge, right? That's what everyone wants, and that's very understandable. So trying to build those relationships was really challenging early on, specifically. And one thing that I learned from King actually was that if you really want to build those relationships, try to build genuine connections with people and don't just go after finding new projects. Try to get to know people.
Great advice.
Right? It's not just about the money. We all want to make money, but really at the end of the day, the people you work with are as important as the type of work that you do. And if you don't enjoy that, then to me, it's not worth it. So that's...
This portion of the program is brought to you by Carlson Software. Founded in 1983. I think I've been using them since 1983-ish. Carlson Software is a privately owned international market leader in CAD design software, field data collection, laser measurement, and machine control products for the civil engineering, surveying, GIS, construction, accident reconstruction, and mining industries worldwide, providing one-source technology solutions for the entire project cycle. Carlson is headquartered in Maysville, Kentucky, USA. I have been there, to be honest with you, with branch offices in Boston, Massachusetts, the Netherlands, Brisbane, Australia, Ottawa, Canada, and York, England, with resellers available across the globe. Carlson's culture is always on the forefront of adapting and developing new technologies into practical applications while remaining rooted in the down-to-earth industries they serve. Evaluation, development, and support. These key elements are the legs that Carlson stands on, and each of them is directly tied to the people providing. Carlson Software's renowned dedication to customer service is unique in the industry. To find out more, visit carlsonsw.com.
All right, I want to switch gears a little bit, and I want to talk about specifically the people, and I got to circle back to you, King, and you mentioned something in your bio, believe it or not, I did hear it, and you said something about what your role was a people, culture, and initiative. Can you expand? What exactly did you say? And can you expand on what exactly that is?
Since the founding of GeoEngineers, our company core value is about creating a community where the employee will behave in a way that's caring and respect for each other, and working on challenging projects, exciting projects, and having fun doing it. So that is really the core value of the company, and it hasn't changed to this day. Even though the number of employees that we have grew from 3 people to 460, and the number of shareholders and grew from 3 shareholders to 260 shareholders. So we are a company that's broadly owned by the employees. So the purpose and the value of the companies that is very employee centric is pretty much the North Star on what the decision making that our company makes, and with the ultimate vision of to stay broadly employee owned into the future. So whether or not it can happen is another story. It's getting more and more challenging to be able to stay broad employee owned. And so really my focus has been, if I'm just reflecting back on my career at GeoEngineers, I have received all this opportunity for my personal and professional growth. And then, being a Malaysian kid, came to the US when I was 19 years old, and then started here as a temporary employee at GeoEngineers that doing all the field work, construction site, and was provided all the opportunity for me to get into the design work and expanding a new practice area, getting into executive management and business management role. I felt that is something that is very valuable and very meaningful for me, and something that I committed to making sure that this will be passed on to the future generation of the employee here at GeoEngineers. So that's why the people and the culture and the value are extremely important to us. And at the same time, we need to be profitable, but we are not the kind of company that's going to maximize profitability, but any given time, we're going to want to balance the profitability pace growth, because without growth, then there's no opportunity for the younger generations. And also making sure that we have a lot of initiative that providing personal and professional growth opportunity for our employees.
So talk a little bit about that next generation. I mean, is there a big, huge pool of geotech engineers just waiting by the door to get hired on, or are you having to recruit at universities? Like, what are you doing to get new engineers in the door and grow?
I think there's a couple of things. You can do the typical process in recruiting, going to university and talking to potential and prospective employees and staff. But ultimately, I believe in, company culture is about the story that you tell about the company. So it's really up to all of us, the GeoEngineer staff, and when we interact with our peer and our clients, and really tell the story about what it's like and working at GeoEngineers. That to me is the best and the most effective way of recruiting. Now, it takes time, and people is going to need to hear the story multiple times and really see it firsthand in order for people to believe that this company truly exists, and it's more than just making money, but it's making money and doing fun things together, and caring and respect for each other. Mm-hmm. And so I think we're doing the typical and going out to the university and trying to talk as much as possible what culture means. But culture is abstract things. If you haven't experienced it, you're not going to understand what it is. So it's up to us, all the GeoEngineers employees. We are the ambassador of our culture. When we behave and interact with everybody else, and people is going to see that I can sense the caring and respect from our interaction with others. And then we can sense that the relationship building is genuine, like Arash is saying, and then really trying to build this long lasting relationship. Plus, we need to be good at what we do too. So I think the relationship and the technical excellence are the two things that geoengineers rely on, and that set us apart in the industry.
Well, Matt, you're shaking your head there, and you just mentioned that you made a choice to go and join this group in the growing San Diego office. I'm curious, why did you ultimately decide to go with these guys?
Well, yeah, just in agreement, nodding there in agreement with what King was saying was what it was, and that's exactly it. Is that I think the hallmark of a good firm would be that if your clients and other industry contacts that are sort of outside of the internal structure of that firm, if they're saying that the culture of that firm is positive, if they're saying that based on their interactions with that firm that you might want to go and take a look or further investigate, I think that's a telltale sign, right? So. And as I had mentioned, I sort of became aware of Geo through other industry contacts, and that's exactly how it was, where I said to myself, hold on a second here, I can actually work on the project types that I'd like to, first of all, but then beyond that, in terms of culture, it's something that might be new or that certain potential employees might not yet have experienced at their previous jobs. And so again, sort of like King had mentioned, once you become exposed to that, it's enlightening and encouraging, and so then you can sort of become the ambassador yourself, right? Because you've gone in and got to experience that.
So yeah, and I've never thought of it that way. You don't think you always think about your clients and what you do for projects and all the other benefits to that relationship, but sometimes you don't think about what those clients may have an impression on other people that may be your future employees, and it all matters, right?
It all matters.
Absolutely.
And Sean, I hope that there's be a line of people that want to be a part of GeoEngineers, and then for those who are interested in exploring employment here at GeoEngineers, please go to geoengineers.com and click on.
Oh,
nice. Love that plug there.
Love it.
You have a new co-host.
I mean, King, I got to admit, like, you come to this very naturally. You segue right into it when you need to. All right, you guys mentioned something earlier, and it's something that we talk about every show as well. And maybe I'll start with you, Arash. Like, talk about mentorship and the importance of having a mentor and having that relationship in a company like this, and definitely your firm.
Sure, that's an interesting topic. It's one of those things that a lot of people come to companies and they say, okay, what program do you have for mentorship? And how do you connect me to other people? And there's always that system that puts people in touch and they start connecting and working together. But in my experience, mentorship needs to be natural. Those systems are useful to have. They're great. But at the end of the day, it's a two-way relationship that you pick your partner and the partner needs to pick you, and then you go throughout the process. One of the great things about Geo is that we have this open door, open policy, open culture that you can connect with any senior principals within the company, and you can spend time with them and you can just have conversations. And I started at the staff one right out of grad school. I had work experience, but it was my first consulting job in the US. And then I quickly realized that, okay, in the afternoons, I can just hang out with these principals that have been with Geo for over 30 years and just talk to them. And they have this interest to have the conversations. And I started building my own relationships throughout time. And can say that has played a huge role in my growth, because we all have those blind spots that we think that, oh no, I got this covered. I know what I'm doing here. I know where I'm headed. But then they tell you things that are very enlightening. So, as I said, we have these systems in place. But for me, at the end of the day, those after hours or lunchtime conversations are what real mentorship is about. And that's where you find your mentor. And I've been lucky enough to have a few of them at Geo.
I mean, and that's well said. That's amazing. King, you have anything to comment on that?
Yeah, I think part of the reason we're able to do that is because of our focus on part of the main focus on people and making sure that our people get the opportunity to learn from others and develop professionally and personally. And one of the things that we can do that because we are a single profit center. So we have 16 offices, one P&L. So we're focusing on making sure that we engage the best people on that have the best knowledge and experience on the project to make sure that our clients get the best value from us. And even though that means that we have to engage people from other offices working together on that one project is in other offices, and so that definitely impact the profit. But then for us, it's important because by doing that, we make connection between our staff in different offices and working on the same project, have a shared goal. And then so that's how we can facilitate the mentoring and then like Raj was saying, it's a two-way street, and then it'll be also good to have a common goal in mind. So at the granular level, working on a project, we have the project goals in mind. On the company level, we all have the same vision, is to making sure that we do what we can to make sure that our company is going to stay broadly employee owned, and then so that the next generations can take it on and be sustainable into the future.
So with that next generation, what advice would you give to someone who's looking to start a career in the geotechnical side? How would you encourage people to take on that university qualification or get them interested to be able to move into that career?
Peter, remember, there's just a line out the door. They just have heard so many great things. They're just waiting to be told where to go in university. But I'm sorry, King, please.
Yeah, I think it's getting more and more challenging nowadays with we live in a world where the communication is happening so fast, and the next generations, they want gratification right away. Yeah. And so it's like, on day one, and a lot of the engineers are going to be like, how can I make a difference? I'm ready to go. And then, so one of the advice that I would give is looking at the career as a marathon. It's not a sprint. So, and have patience and discipline to really learn all the fundamental and skill and practices and experience from and the folks in the company that has done it, who has done it for like many years, 20, 30 years, and restrain from comparing to other people that say, are advancing faster than me. The rate of advancement is one thing, but from my perspective, making sure that you have an enjoyable career over 30, 40 years, that should be the focus of your career, because if you're not enjoying what you do over a long period of time, then it's not really worth it, right? So just that is make sure that you're passionate about dirt, and you really
love it, King. Well said.
It's the time to learn all the skill, the core skill and fundamental skill, and learn from others, and then a lot of the things that I know. I learned 60% of what I know from others and 40% by myself. And so it's important to really keep an open mind and be patient, be disciplined, and really focusing on develop the core skills that you need so that you can have like an enjoyable career down the road in the next 20, 30 years.
Love it.
Nice. What do you want to add to that, Arash?
It really matters that you do what you like, right? And I have friends that got they got pulled into the direction of money because some lines of work pay better these days, right? Some lines of engineering are more lucrative to students at the time, and I understand that. But then they now come to the conclusion that maybe I shouldn't have made that decision, although the money is great, but I'm not happy. And it could be very extreme, the level of unhappiness, but at the same time, you get to your 40s and you don't want to change careers at that point, right? It just, you're not stuck, but you're kind of stuck. And making that decision early on, trying to figure out what you like and not just follow money, because you can make money in any field eventually. If you're good at the work that you do, you are going to make enough money to be happy in life. That's the biggest thing that I see these days, and it's a little bit concerning to me. I'm not talking about our line of work alone. I'm just talking as a society. That's concerning to me that everyone goes in the direction of money alone and nothing else. And not everyone, a big majority, though. I'll correct myself.
Matt, you have anything to add? And by the way, Arash, that definitely sounds like an answer from someone on vacation from Mexico. just throwing that out there.
Good one, Sean.
Oh, I have to pay the credit card bills when I'm back, so maybe I need to change my job.
Right.
Just add onto that briefly. I think we all have certain expectations when we start our careers. A lot of it might be centered around, how much money you might make, or the types of projects you might work on, or, the opinion of the greater industry of the company that you're about to work for. I think that in reality, it's the community within that company that's more important than those things. And I think that when things are in line, and when you have a community of individuals working together collaboratively at a firm, that's where you as an individual can be most successful when you're in tune with that, and when you're a part of that. I think that's certainly how it is at GeoEngineers, or that's what I've realized since I've been at Geo, and so hindsight's 2020, but I think that would be an important thing or an important consideration.
Nice. Well said. Guys, we're wrapping up here. I have two last questions. One is talk just briefly about what's the future of GeoEngineers look like? Where are you guys going? I mean, obviously, you're just going to keep doing what you're doing and growing this, this great company, how you're doing it. But King, I'll let you just talk a few minutes about what do you see for the firm in the next 5-10 years?
I think in the next 5-10 years, our firm will want to focus on expanding all our core services into all the regions that we have offices, California being one of the main focus. So I'm a firm believer about staying true to our core services, and then transform how we do it, and then not getting into other area that may be in conflicts with who we are as a company. We are geotechnical engineering and earth science consulting firm, environmental and natural resources. And then we have to be disciplined and making sure that the growth initiative has to be based on how can we bring those services to other region, or transform how we do those services so that, we challenge our employee and to learn new things and stay in the forefront of the practices. So in 5-10 years, I'm hoping that we're going to have San Diego. I'm going to use San Diego as an example. I'm hoping that in California, we're going to have more than one offices with critical mass in each of the offices. And San Diego could be, hopefully in 5-10 years, will be like 30 to 40 people providing more than just geotech, environmental services, and natural resources, and then other core services that we can provide in the company. It's all about creating opportunity and grow in the area that align with the passion of our employees, and then so that we can be profitable and continue to grow and so that we can invest in the people-centric initiative that make our company special.
Nicely done.
I like the people-centric.
Yeah. All right. Before we get out of here, I always ask one last question, but real quick, anyone else have anything they want to get out there? Matt, Arash, I have one last question for you, Arash, if you're ready for it.
I don't know if I am ready for it.
you just seem like you have the demeanor for this. So we ask everyone at the end of the show, and I'll give it to you, Arash. Do you have a mantra that you live by?
Oh, God. I don't know how to translate it to English.
That means it's awesome. That means it is really good, but do your best.
Have positive thoughts, do positive things or do good things, and the rest will be taken care of.
Perfect.
God, that is. Yeah. Hey, I don't know about you, Peter, but that's one of the better ones that we've gotten.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Thank you.
All right, Peter. What else you got? I really appreciate your help this evening. Considering some technical difficulties, you definitely carried the show.
Whew. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I know that you're going to finish off, Shawnee, but there's just a couple of things that came through in today that I just want to make a couple of notes.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Push CPTs are cones that you push into the ground that have sensors to take stiffness readings.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. It's not just about the money. It's the people you work with. Mentoring and creating a community at work is crucial while having fun and doing. And be passionate about dirt and learn from others. That's my takeaways. Off to you, Shawnee.
Oh, man. All right. Well, you stole a couple of mine, I do appreciate that. Real quick, guys, Matt, Arash, King, you guys are awesome. Appreciate everything. Appreciate having you on the show. To find out more, GeoEngineers.com is the website, right, King?
That's correct.
And to find your future career, go there. They got a lot of good opportunities.
And
man,
go there too. And then if this client need help on the geotechnical and environmental services,
you got it. Sounds great. All right, guys. Adding value, making friends. Peter, can we check that box?
We can check that box.
All right. To be a guest on a future show, go to info@thegeoholics.com. Bob Seeger, Night Moves, available everywhere. Until next time, a couple of takeaways that Peter didn't mention. Grow your employees, work on challenging projects, and have fun doing it.
Yes.
Build genuine relationships with people. Do what you like. Do good things, and the rest will take care of itself. I love this.
Love it.
Be passionate about dirt, and most importantly, be safe and healthy.
Working and practicing all of the night.